I steal only what I can't afford. And that's everything. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. How are you today? I hope you're doing amazingly. We're going to talk about defense in 5v5 for the upcoming GAC season, and hopefully it'll be a good time. I also put out an offensive teams video at the exact same time, so you go check that out. The link is in the video description, but also on top of that, but wait, there's more. There's also going to be another video that comes out probably tomorrow, and it'll have a more approachable account. If this is a little overwhelming, because I know that this account has all the toys, well, maybe not all of them. I don't have Saw and I don't have Tarful, but otherwise this account is, 11.4 million or whatever. It's a big account, and whereas it's not as crazy as impressive as a lot of the accounts that I end up playing, you guys I know that it's not as approachable to you guys, so hopefully make another video like this at, the day after. I always try to do that and explain a little more on my process on how to play. I think I'm gonna do one for Prevail Man this coming, tomorrow, which it's my 4.4 million in Chromium. Should be a really interesting thing. I don't know if it'll even get clicks, but one way or another, we're gonna find out, guys. Let's jump into this. Wrong button, silly Zareth. And thank my patrons. You guys are amazing, and I could not do this without you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Truly, I do appreciate all of you so much. Truly appreciate it, guys. And just a reminder, if you want to support this channel for free, all you've got to do is like, subscribe, and or potentially comment on this. Help me mount the algorithm, guys. It's a good time for you and the algorithm. You guys can hook up. It'll be fun, I'm sure. Don't tell me about it. Whoa, we're in the game. This is not unexpected, actually, guys. So defensive teams, remember, offensive teams, I have that video linked in the video description, or you can wait to the end of this video to click on it. That being said, it's a very tricky thing to come up with good teams that are going to cost your opponent a lot of resources on, when they're marching through, because there's just so many teams lately, guys, and so many teams are only good for offense, and when they're only good for offense, that doesn't really, they're limited in scope to some degree, but it's just because the AI doesn't play them well, or you can't mod them to play super reliably, or something like that. And so what ends up happening is they play great on offense, and so like certain teams like Bad Batch just negate a whole body of teams. Even the newer teams are just going to get destroyed by Bad Batch. And, Star Killer, there's a ton of different teams, comps out there that are going to come in and just kind of stomp whatever you place. And so the teams that I'm showing you guys here are the teams that are like, well, yes, there's going to be some inherent weaknesses in them, but they're going to probably be your only real chance of, having some good defensive comps. So, the Jabba team, now that you can't just auto-kill Chrysanthemum that easily, I mean, you can use Rey to do it or whatever, but if you use Kenobi with Cat, you can't just immediately WTF pwn Chrysanthemum, because Chrysanthemum will just come back pretty shortly. And the rest of the team, the more relics, the merrier. One thing to keep in mind, folks, is that when you're on offense, and I didn't even say this in the offense video, you're going to need something that can kill Jabba, really thick Jabba teams consistently now. Now that we have this new raid here, people are going to be putting Relic 8 on all of their Jabba teams. So, this team isn't as susceptible to, Inquisition don't really beat it that well. Maybe Reva does now. I'm trying to remember if I think Reva still struggles. But Aphra, I've seen Aphra work against weaker Jabba teams. I haven't seen Aphra work against the really strong, thick ones. And because she doesn't have a Kron left, there's all the counters that were happening to Jabba are now less so happening. So really good team on defense. Now this Rey split is kind of crazy, guys. So I'm showing you two different splits. One of them is that this is apparently supposed to be just like a crazy team. You probably want a really fast hero Finn. Mine is probably abysmally, embarrassingly slow, is my guess. 317. Yeah, I guess I should be a little embarrassed. Like, you probably want him a little faster, like 340-ish if you can, which is a significant investment, and I don't think I'm willing to make that, frankly. But apparently, if you have Zori, and if you have, you know, the Cal, and you have all that, like, this team is apparently just destroying teams in territory wars or something, and apparently you can't use Starkiller against it. I'm not really sure, guys. I guess this build was available last GAC, last 5v5, though we have different cron sets for it now. I guess you probably want the level 7 or the set 7 datacrons anyways, because you have the Zori here. We'll see how this team goes. You know, place it and see, guys. It might end up being amazing. Not really sure. Now, if you don't want to do that, and we still have the Sortie-cron, which is a crazy one, of course, still. This team is pretty acceptable as well. You could swap out Barriss for Jedi Training Rey if you wanted to. But I just got L3 to Relic 7 because I want this team to be really tough to kill, and you know, L3 is really thick, Sortie's really thick, Barriss makes them like, this whole team is just very timeout-ish. It especially works pretty well. I was looking at my history, I was like, gosh, I actually failed a decent amount with Starkiller on this team. Like, I just timed out, like, I'd kill Rey, and then I'd just time out on, like, Sortie and L3 or something. So, just stuff to keep in mind, folks. This team is pretty good. It's, in my opinion, right now at face value, unless this team is truly unbeatable, and this is one of the reasons I'm keeping Reva for offense this season, guys, is unless this is just a truly unbeatable, ridiculous, crazy team, then I honestly do think that this Rey team here is probably going to be superior, because you can use the Zori team on the next comp that I show you guys on defense, and you can use Cal on other comps as well. And if you have Sortie, you probably want to be putting Sortie with Rey, while Sortie still has the cool cron that gives her spare parts for her, well, just for her friend Droid. And you know, like, you probably want that timeout thing, and then you can have your own Zori team. Like I was saying, it's tough to find good defensive teams. Now, I do think that Tuskens are going to give a little bit of trouble to this team this season. We'll have to just see how it goes. What I've heard is that if you put Jedi Training Rey here, which as long as she's not the leader, she goes extremely well with Zori here. And so we'll see how Tuskens do, if they run roughshod over it or not. I guess one thing you could do is put like a Commander Luke team in the front zone so that people use Tuskens there, and then when they get to the back zone, they're not able to kill this team, or vice versa. Maybe you put this team up front, and then people are like, oh yeah, we'll just use Tuskens, and then get wiped out because Tuskens are just animals. No, they're not really animals. They ride banthas, guys. You can ride it like a bantha, but this is, one thing that occurred to me, I probably want to work on my OG Finn a little bit. It's probably worthwhile for his ship anyways, frankly. That the Millennium Falcon, the Rey's Millennium Falcon, does crazy damage if you work on the pilots, in fact. So R2-D2 is probably the only one that you can kind of take out and put a different character in. Otherwise, this team is very, very strong on defense, and this is part of why I want to not use this crazy comp up top, is because this team here is so strong on its own. I hate having to combine them all, though. As we continue our march toward a billion teams, we're probably going to end up making a lot of super teams in GAC, unless CG Fix is GAC somehow. We'll see how it goes. Now, this is a squad I know a lot of people aren't going to have, but, and there's a lot of overlap, of course, as well. Jedi Training Rey, you can see, you know, crew is, you guys, I have my Supreme Leader Kylo team has him on the Kylo team. So, like, this is a team that's just, in theory, something to kind of get you guys used to it. I think that on defense, this is going to be a pretty decent squad, especially with Jedi Training Rey here. I have my Fulcrum modded pretty well, and Relic 8, so she does some crazy damage. She goes really nicely with Cal and Seer. I do have the Omicron on Seer. I don't know, like, the Omicron probably is somewhat necessary to make this team work. I'm very interested to see how this does on defense, though, guys. What gets killed by it and what kills it at the end of the day. Probably one of the biggest apprehension I personally have for this upcoming season is how good is Seer going to be? How impactful? Where is she going to be used? What are the team comps? Because the UFU tag is all over the place right now. Like, we have so many different characters that we're not even using. Like, what's her best comp? So far as I can tell, this is the best one so far. We'll just have to see how it goes in the future. Now, Lord Vader, guys, remember, he has the cool, or not cool, depending on who you what your perception are. What your perception are. Dear Lord, Lord Vader is. He's got the dot cron, though, which, you know, he when he applies dots, he gets stacks of protection because he has a protection up. And those protection up stacks are crazy effective because he has an enormous health pool. You didn't think I was going to say is he has an enormous health pool, did you? But the thing is, guys, this is actually a team that's very susceptible now that we don't have the 20% speed cron or whatever. This is very susceptible to being troopered if you're not careful, and so you probably want Maul and Canderous here. Both of those two combined with Thrawn and, you know, having a good pre-taunt with Royal Guard is going to really mess with people trying to run this team, or run troopers against this team, or for that matter, trying to run bounty hunters against it as well. You're going to be able to get into your ult pretty dang quick and really mess with people. Having Maul here is, the thing is, we don't have a really great, we don't have the Canderous cron anymore, so running Maul on his own team is just not as fun to me anymore. We're just kind of scattering his team to the wind. On the offensive team's video, we have the armor with Sith Eternal, for instance. So, and then you'll see here we actually have Jango on another team as well. Okay, so this is the best Darth Malgus team, except for maybe one, instead of Marauder, you could put Talon on, but I do have Talon with Traya here. You can see this team is just good on defense, guys. If you want to be really cool and proactive, you could, I guess, put Relic 8 on Darth Revan because his capital ship is probably going to want that anyways. The Leviathan coming in a few months or whenever it is. Let's see. Darth Traya squad. This is the best Darth Traya squad. So the thing that I told people in the offensive teams video, these teams are in a way interchangeable because they both counter Reva, and I know that Kenobi probably counters a few more things than Traya does overall, but one way or another, this team is really good on defense as well and requires a Galactic Legend. There's not another team out there that can actually beat this that isn't a Galactic Legend, or at least not beat this consistently. With Savage, with the Omicron, with Traya and the Omicron, like this squad is crazy strong. Talon just giving all the boosts to all of them. This team is really, really strong on offense or defense. Kind of want one or the other with Kenobi and it for offense or defense, though. All right. Let's see. So we'll see how the Grievous squad goes here, guys. So BB-8's available. We're not putting BB-8 with Sortie this time, and we're using Newt for the Trench team for later. So this is the team here. You know, Aphra doesn't require the services of B2. There's just a lot. This team is different. Has a datacron that if they go, then they put target lock on characters if just by virtue of having gone, like taking a turn. And in theory, that's going to really be nice for this Grievous team. And they're all going to start with plus 40% turn meter, depending on who they're facing. I think it's going to be a good team on defense. I don't think the Night Sisters will take it down, though maybe Marin will facilitate that. It's just a very gray area to me right now, folks. This team, I'll probably try it on defense. It was it was my very best, most effective team by far for a long time on defense when we had the last defensive sets, like the set 6, it got holds against almost everyone in both 3s and 5s. Now I don't know, the new Datacron is not going to be as good, I don't think. People say that it's as good, and yet it doesn't do as well, in my opinion. So we'll have to see. I think, you know, if this isn't doing well, if Nice Sisters are just killing it, we'll have to yank this team out and find somehow another team for defense. But right now, if you have the Datacron from set 7 that auto-applies target lock on level 6 when droids take a turn, this is the team that you want, probably. Now I do have Admiral Trench, he's got Relic 7, he's got his cool Datacron, and we'll see how this goes. I mean, on defense, it steals Watt, so you have to make a lot of accommodations for that. I think I've done an okay job of it, but this team is going to be pretty interesting. Poor old Maul is like, hey, I'm finally independent, and then the Canderous Kron is like, it dusts, and he's like, oh, I guess I'll go back to Lord Vader. And like this whole team is just gone, lost in the wind. Newt he has to go his own way, but I think the splits are decent. Like BB-8 is an okay replacement for Newt, at least for now, and we'll see how Trench does. But the Datacron, I'm pretty sure this team is going to be really nice on defense. You probably want Dooku to be crazy fast. Maybe I'll give him like Qui-Gon's old mods. That'll be kind of nice, like all those mods that Qui-Gon had when he was a really good team on defense. Can revert to his old master. That'll be good. He'll like the idea of it going to a Sith, I'm sure. Now the Sauna team, I know that people have been using Bad Batch on this. If you can make your Cara Dune fast enough, though, guys, and your Sabine, it's kind of a nice, like, so you get Hondo. You kind of need Hondo to be he does Omicron, so that what happens is he goes first. That's not his Omicron. This one? Yeah, so he gets 25% turn meter for each other scoundrel or smuggler ally, so he gains 100% turn meter to go, and he'll put someone in timeout. But the other piece of it, folks, is that when he does go, when he takes his first turn, it reduces everyone's turn meter by like 20% or something like that. And that's pretty good. It doesn't suck, at least. And if you reduce everyone's turn meter, so Bad Batch, there still might be fast enough, unless you make a fast enough Sabine and Cara Dune to go before. So Echo goes. Apparently, it's non-resistible, by the way, guys. With Hondo, that he just reduces their turn meter by 20%, and then if Cara Dune is fast enough to go, she can further reduce that turn meter and make it so that this team just gets a lot of turns and can just kind of mess with the Bad Batch in a big way. Like, I don't know, I've seen it actually get holds against Bad Batch a few times. You do need to have a fast enough Sabine and Cara to outspeed Bad Batch by, after Bad Batch reduces their speed by 20%, which shouldn't be too difficult, frankly. Aphra, so we don't really need Vader right now with Lord Vader. I don't think. We'll see if that becomes a lie. I don't know if I love this team on defense, guys. But what else are we gonna do? Like, there's just not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, so you can put, she has her Datacron, or her Omicron here in 5s, which I do have that, obviously, you can see it, on her lead. What does it even do? Yeah, so they gain crit avoid, and they get extra speed, and she gets more potency, all this cool stuff. It's actually a very impactful one, guys. It's just for 3v3. You can see, I took her mods off to go on, what, I think a Tusken for the raid. It's pure madness that the Tusken's gonna take her cool mods, but, that'll be switched before GAC starts. One way or another, guys, this team could be really good on offense as well. I'm not sure. You probably want a pre-taunt here, now that I'm looking at it. Like, if you have L3 available, which obviously I have her for that race squad, but you probably want L3. You might want B2 on the squad as well, if you want to defend with it. So maybe this is a kind of a misbegotten team for offense, or for the defensive side. But one way or another, guys, she is going to go first. She's not going to take if she could just increase cooldowns as her first move, she would be so strong, but she doesn't do that. So you're gonna have to rely on the rest of her characters to help her out. Darth Vader is spareable though. You can keep her for offense, guys, or put L3 down and B2 and change the whole way everything is constructed on this on this comp. But I do think that that's actually a pretty worthy replacement. Now we have Supreme Leader Kylo because I was too lazy apparently after I copied it to bring it all the way up to where all the other Galactic Legends are. We're going to probably see him more and more on defense, guys, just because they're stealing the Night Sisters. Like, the Night Sisters are stealing themselves back, at least temporarily, to see how they do. And Watt wants to go with Trench. There's just a whole mess here, guys. And so he gets to go forlornly with the rest of his crew. And a lot of people are going to be like, I don't want to do that. I'll just throw him on defense and make him my opponent's problem. And I think that that's pretty valid, actually. So we'll see. We'll be seeing this on defense some, I think. So this is one of the few that I double dipped with, folks. On offense, I said that Poggle might be this team with Poggle, Kron. The only reason this team is even mentioned at all, frankly, guys, is because Poggle is pretty good here. His Datacron, I actually would be curious to see what a 4-man Geo squad, like how they would do with Sith Eternal lead. I don't know how that would do with the Pogglecron. I don't know if I love that idea. You probably need some health on the Pogglecron to make Sith Eternal Emperor's health more. It's just kind of a mess. But one way or another, the Pogglecron is, I think it's going to do decent, guys. I think it's going to do well. You probably do yourself well by having a really fast Brood Alpha, or at least a really super crazy tenacious one. And just go from there, guys. We'll see how it goes. I'm very interested to see. We'll be watching Poggle the Lesser's career with great interest. They all get so much turn meter when he evades, guys. It's bonkers. It's like you miss once on him and the whole team just gets a turn. Just crazy. And then I don't know, I've been debating what to do with General Skywalker, because on offense he actually is killing a lot of different things, and on defense he was a liability last season because Maul kills him and a lot of other teams kill him, but he still doesn't do that well against Malgus. Malgus has his cool Datacron. It's kind of a mess. You get really poor banners if you use this on a good Malgus team, but at the same time, on offense. On defense, well, he's not as much of a liability anymore, at least as far as I can tell. I think that he, without Maul here to just rip him to shreds, I think that this team is actually maybe decent on defense once again. We'll have to see. I mean, everyone's going to be keeping their CLS team with Chupio on offense, in which case they'll just erase this General Skywalker team sometimes. So I don't know, just kind of this weird trade. But one way or another, guys, we've outstayed our welcome. I'm going to let you go. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zareth prevails. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, folks. Take care.